Hey, welcome everybody to Battle Pirates Crib. I guess we're going to talk about VXP, some of the current TLCs, and hopefully we're going to get the announcement for BP next week. And Lady Cat's favorite, the contest of the month.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, um, KB or Calvin had a good idea last week or earlier this week of the Christmas turkey, which in my mind was how do you decorate your Christmas turkey? I was imagining a star and tinsel and lights, which would be fascinating.
See,
Um,
I was imagining bacon or prosciutto or
a Christmas turkey just meant Christmas tree to me, but we'll see what they come up with. But let's say hello to everybody. Lady Cat,
hello.
Magic Mike,
Hi, everyone.
Derpy.
Your Christmas turkey better not have any beef on it.
Well, and I have some questions for you. One, do those coffee mugs are they like microwave friendly where it just doesn't heat up the cup and leaves the coffee cold?
I got no idea.
Okay. And are you going to introduce like a half shirt, like an exposed midriff shirt at some point soon? Those are the two items that I'm most interested in.
You can just crop that yourself and cut it out, cut the bottom half off yourself if you want to.
Okay. Well, sometimes, some people aren't the best with, because you get that rough edge, and some people like that rough edge, but not
It's
everybody.
stylish.
Oh, you
Yeah.
can fringe it. Just fringe it.
Okay.
Oh, God.
All right. Yeah. So, and the Saint, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good day, everyone.
Good day. And let's move on. We'll just do the bug fixes because they were so funny. All right. Fixed an issue where the brag about button had no effect. How do they know about this, and why did they fix it?
Well, people used to use it, right? So they could save their progress. Like, hey, I just redeemed this hole in the November storm ray or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then it went missing from their inventory. So they could prove that they redeemed it because they bragged about it.
Yeah. Because I want probably have somebody in charge of product, have Centaur or somebody to be like, friend me, and I every time and you need to follow me. Every time I get a brag about button, I'm going to hit it just so you can see how overused that button is in the game. But
It's good to see they're fixing the real important issues in the game.
Yeah, the things we've been asking out for months, the things that help low players start playing the game, things that make them money. It's the real important ones.
Yeah, well, the next one is actually quite important. I was going back and forth as far as my functionality using HTML5. It worked for 3 weeks, but only in Opera. Now it's working in both Chrome and Opera for me, and I hope it's working for everybody else. I did see somebody in Discord said, to my knowledge, has a fairly new computer, said that December 31st will be his last day playing Battle Pirates as he sees it. And I'm like, hopefully at this point, I'm hoping everybody's issues are fixed. But I assume everybody else is working pretty well with HTML5.
I'm doing good.
Yeah, it's been working for the past few months for me. I've played in Flash like twice in the past 5 months.
Yeah, I play pretty much on HTML5 all the time now. I just get the odd visual error with an SOS every now and again when you're trying to do the 5-minute speed up. It's often actually not under 5 minutes, and when you try and speed it up, you get the odd SOS, but once a day maybe, not too bad.
Or the fleet doesn't actually, it doesn't actually register as repaired or something.
That's it,
you cancel it.
Yep.
Yeah, and the one that Derpy mentioned, I also saw that in Flash. So
yeah,
I don't think
it
that's
may not be
HTML
HTML5 specific.
Yeah.
And it will give you an SOS screen, and it will tell you the reasons it gives are like someone else is on your account or
you're logged
you've had the game
multiple
open too
times.
long. But the actual reason is an error code underneath it. So
Okay, James Jam, HTML freezes on me when I go to my dock or try to click into a battle. I did actually have that today. I think we'll get into that a little bit later as it relates to one of the targets. And I had stopped being as diligent checking Task Manager like when I was in a TLC or something where I was not autoing it. And I look back and my memory usage on one thread inside of Google was like 4.9. So just crazy memory usage on one of them. Historically, before they basically smoothed out Flash, I would check every time where I'm like, could I die on this target? And I would just check my Task Manager and open it up to processes and take a look at that. And I had stopped doing that because everything was running so smoothly. But HTML5, sometimes it seems to do a little bit of memory leakage. So.
Well, that's just old age,
Yeah, and sometimes the memory just leaks out. You know about that, right, Mike? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Some of it may not have to do with just your bandwidth. It may have to do with the age of your video card, your memory usage, other things. I think they're trying to work it out so it works for everybody. So if you still have problems, file tickets just so they know. And then there's also the HTML5 thread or channel in Discord to show what your issues are. Ignore the everybody wants to comment. And it's it works fine for me, but I think eventually somebody at Kickside reads it. But you can ignore the people that are like, just telling you everything's fine for them and you're wrong, because that's not really the case. You need to have our hardware acceleration turned on. Maybe closer to the due date, we'll go through that and show everybody how to do that. Okay. That's okay. You got this is a Flash issue, right, Dynamite? You're using Flash because HTML5. Like say you're counting down from 15 seconds or 50 seconds and you enter in HTML5, it continues that clock. In Flash, you immediately start the battle. So that's something I do not think that they're going to fix in Flash, because they're just waiting for Flash to go away in a month and 10 days or so. So, yeah. Okay. John, you have to let us know what your issues are. And I'm glad that fixed things for you, Dynamite, because it does. That's a Flash issue, not a HTML5 issue, and not a game-wide issue. So, all right. If we're done with bug fixes, I guess we'll move on to the calendar. All right. It is Friday. We still have not seen the contest. So, and we have not seen BP next week. So, in case anybody's listening out there, we're still waiting.
Waiting and waiting.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. What actually is going to be happening next week? Well,
that's the next slide. That's the next slide.
Okay.
You want to go to the next slide now?
It's bounty, isn't it?
Yeah, it's bounty plus more. It's bounty, and then we also have the assault hall TLC, which is the next slide.
And it's the same exact targets as the one that's currently this week. So, fun, new, exciting, fresh content that's just straight recycled.
Yeah, but the prizes are different. So let's move on to the next one. Cyber Strike should be similar to Bloody. What is it? Blood Rain or whatever it is.
Blood Frenzy.
Blood Frenzy. Okay. Um, this is going to allow you to get. Wait, I thought we get more upgrade tokens than this. You only get 5 upgrade tokens.
It's 5 upgrade tokens, 8 build tokens.
Okay. So this could be the 5. I guess I thought they were both 8. I thought it was 8 and 10 for some reason. Stuck in my mind. But the 5 upgrade tokens for your photons should be helpful in advancing the upgrade levels of your photons for the next raid. So, but if you're able to run through, I'm having good luck with using the photons in this target as opposed to the zealots. Derpy, you mentioned that you were going to hit one of the
I tried. I only have 4 ships right now. My flag's going up to U3. It was not super effective. It was slower. I was driving too, and it was slower than just using my zealots. And it was not instant repair with 4 ships after encounter number 2.
Okay.
So I'm back to using zealots and essentially autoing it or driving, half-ass driving the whole thing. They're not an instantly better solution.
Yeah.
Is that because of the upgrade level, though? If you're not at X1 for everything, where your zealots would be?
Well, if you're at X1, you don't need to do this.
No, that's what I mean. But if your photons aren't at X1...
It's a combination of I don't have the flag, and also the zealots and the photons have several differences, like the all the little tiny drones or PT boats or whatever in these targets. It's really easy to kill them with corrosive splash, but not so easy to kill them with penetrative accuracy base, which can miss a whole lot.
Yeah, I've only did prize pack 1 earlier as far as the blood frenzy. I got through the first 3 with like 10 to 12 minutes on the water, and then the 4th one, I froze up and was not able to get back into the target for 7 minutes, and I took an hour and 45 minutes of damage during that period of time because the Atlas carriers were driving towards me, and the PT boats were coming at me. I don't have a really good, understanding of how they're going to work in the non-auto targets with the Atlas carriers, and then they work good with the what's the one with the spinning
Valkyrie?
Yeah, the Valkyrie with the spotlight. I don't know. The Valkyrie with the spotlight, it works well, but as Derpy mentioned, it does, you just can't go straight at them and not take any damage with the PT boats. And I'm not sure how it's going to progress with that. But the first 3 targets, it really was no issue at all for me. So I'm not sure how that's going to. And I hate the zealots. I mean, I don't like the fact that the range is so short, and then that aura pops on and off, and it's. I really don't like driving the zealots, so I prefer it with the photons. It's less of a headache because you don't have to worry about really sniping out the venom spitters and other things because you have more range to effectively take them out. But one of the problems is that you don't have splash, and also these targets have appears to be, from what I can tell from my battle reports, about a 70% resistance to penetrative damage because the zealots provide corrosive damage. I don't know. Do you remember what it showed up in your battle reports? Anybody, as far as the amount of resistance the enemy took? when you're using your zealots?
I can get back to you in about 5 minutes on that.
Okay. Having trouble getting my raid fleet to X1.
I mean, mine's not at X1. I've got one shipped to X1. The others are hanging out at U2.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
gonna-
pretty much the same.
Over the next month. I mean, we still have another 2-3 weeks till the raid, right?
Yeah. Using 2 zealots with 3 ECMs and was disrupted and went almost dead. I don't. Yeah, zealots were okay. I don't understand how zealots work better in the campaign than the. It's between the resistance. I think a lot of things we just explained between the resistance, the lack of splash, and some people might be running their ships without countermeasures. So that's partially depends on your build. Those would be the 2 things, and I think you're mostly going to run into those issues in the 4, 5, 6, and 7 targets, as far as at least the lack of splash issue. But you're going to run into all these issues if you're not running any countermeasures on your photons, because the Sentinel weapons are easily counterable, and it seems to take a big chunk out of the missiles that the Atlas fires. So as far as the countermeasures go,
I'm not necessarily sure I agree with that, because I don't really find the Sentinels to be that damaging, and the penetrative missiles from the Atlas aren't that damaging either. I mean, it will help for sure, probably 20% reduction.
But if they're not going to kill you. I mean, but they do if you're trying to keep it to like instant repair in the dock. A couple minutes here, a minute here, and a minute there really helps to change things. So, when you agree to that, because if you get, even if they're throughout the whole
if you're
target,
trying to
if you're only
getting
like,
I'm trying to just auto as much of it or do it as easily as I can because it's such a chore.
I actually enjoy, like it feels like a new target to me because I'm using a different ship.
Maybe on the first or second run through. Oh, I guess if you're using a different ship, I'm still using photons, right? Because
no.
I'm still using zealots.
Yeah, if you're using photons, it's a whole different thing, because your range the big thing is your range is way different. So now, before you had like a 66 range, now you got a 97 range. So it's a different target as far as what you could take out at a certain point. So it's the same target, but it just feels different, at least to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the drones do help, and I do have. I still have that one. What's the crew?
Remote raiders. I have one of those left. I don't think we'll ever use it.
So you got to use it at this point. I think this is the last time you got an excuse to use it.
Yeah, if the game's still alive in 3 years, maybe we'll have another drone ship.
Yeah. And I'm not getting the lag and the hiccuping using the photon that I was getting the zealots. So I'm assuming it was either the auras flashing on and off, or it was when it actually launched the drones. But I'm not getting the lag issues.
I'm not getting that with zealots right now. Maybe that's been a performance improvement, or maybe it's the ships that aren't like joining the target halfway through. Because that was one of the 900 levels that we dealt with when it was in the raid. Yeah,
because at one point people thought it was the Valkyrie's spotlight aura that was.
I think it was the drones when it was the raid, and it was still sort of HTML5 was not as good. I think it was the drones, and then the ships that joined, like Kickside teleported into battle halfway through.
Yeah. Okay, but I would recommend everybody that's not at X1 to go ahead and do Cyber Strike, and
Yeah, and that's next week.
yeah, this is next week.
And the current one is very good for the getting the Overlord. I think this gives you all 14 shards you need. I mean,
Yes,
you
it
should
does.
do it. It's a really powerful hole. It will take you a month to build, but it's a super good hole.
Yeah, I think we can go to the next slide. I think that's the next slide. Yeah, Blood Frenzy. Yes, this does give you 14 Overload Carrier shards throughout, and it also gives you build tokens. I already have mine built and in my base. Yeah, it
Yeah,
definitely makes
so my question is, if you already have yours built, how many of these prize packs do I need to run through? I mean, I can get some build tokens, right,
I always
for refits.
my piranhas aren't built up, aren't ranked all the way. I have 2 of them built. I mean, I don't know if I need to build a third one because I don't even put them on my base. But I mean, I just did it for the show to see, how, basically how well the photons worked in this target. And at least with mine, they seem to work pretty well until that freeze up. Um, you know, everybody else let me know how it works with you relative to the zealots, especially a full fleet.
I do recommend you doing this, even if you have the Overlord, because we've got new defensive armor that's going to be coming, and there may be refits in the future. So having the build tokens in your back pocket is not a bad thing.
No, that's true.
Yeah, but do I need 7 build tokens, or can I get away with like 3?
That's just up to you. How much effort do you want to put into it for what you might need in the future?
None.
Well, then don't do it.
Yeah. And
I
how
mean,
quickly do you need them?
it isn't something that you have to have. It's nice to have it there just in case.
Yeah.
So it depends on how much effort you feel like putting into it for just in case.
Yeah. The new,
But new defensive armors are coming.
yes. So, but yeah, if you do not have the Overlord Carrier, I would recommend everybody do this until that, and the build tokens for it are very helpful. As Derpy mentioned earlier, it's a hellacious build time. It harkens back to like 6 years ago. So it feels like, it almost feels like, how long did it take to build a gross collar?
I still only have 9 shards out of 250 required, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I mean, but it does take like close to a month to build it. So these build tokens are helpful.
Yeah, but there's not enough build tokens. If you don't have it built already, these build tokens aren't going to get it for you quick enough this particular time, because we've got to finish our fleets and our upgrades, and now we have the Everest stuff happening and the Everest upgrades.
It's a separate shipyard.
I'm sorry, what?
It's a separate shipyard.
Oh, okay, that's right. The Overlord.
Yeah.
It's a defender. You're right. Conqueror. Never mind.
Yeah. So this is going on in parallel. So yeah. If you
Yeah, do it. Do it.
All right. BP next week just got posted. Let me see. Oh, the monthly contest is going to get mentioned. So I'm going to give me a second, and I'll copy and paste it to the next slide. But give me a second in order to get that done. And if anybody wants to talk about anything while I'm dealing with that, feel free.
When's the last time anyone beat a base with the Overlord Carrier in it? It's probably been about a month for me.
I don't have bases, so. But my base has been doing very well since I put the Overlord in. I've been pleased with it.
I haven't been pleased because it's too good.
Yeah, I know that.
I've had one successful hit against my base in the last 2-3 months, and that's not because my base is good. It's because the Overlord's good.
Yeah. Is anybody out there having problems with it does have the Overlord in their base?
Well, you have to kind of put some thought into it. You can't just plop it in the middle of your channel. But
Yeah, no. I'm doing well with it. I was just curious if anybody was having issues. Yeah, if you want to go ahead and refresh. And slide 6 SPP next week. All right. Next week we have Sword of Legion, Mutineer and the Bounty, and yes, what we were all asking for, new Megaship campaign.
You can learn about that on the other show.
Yep. Oh yes, on at Sunday night or Sunday morning at 5 a.m. I run a mega show. So
it doesn't mention Cyberstrike there then.
It doesn't.
Yeah, even though it has, that is interesting because if you go back to slide 3, you will see that it has the, and then one more click. There we go. The assault hull
Photon. Yeah.
TLC, and
oh well, I don't have to do this stupid TLC. Oh wait, but I want the token, so I should do that.
Yeah. Maybe I can get this sorted out. Are any of these?
The Sword of Legion TLC is for your Gladius. Mutineer on the Bounty is for your Mutineers. They're not must-haves. I mean, if you don't have those at X1, you can auto it with that whatever fleet that is.
Okay, ICE is already bothering.
I was just about
or requesting information from and Derpy. Yeah, people are requesting information from Geely to see if this is a potential oversight. So we'll see if.
Well, a lot of us have complained about having to do that TLC and bounty at the same time, but then if they don't have,
they're different fleets.
I know,
but it's a time investment.
It's a time investment. For me, it's time. But the question is, if we don't have it this week, when would we have it?
Well, and if you look at the calendar, it's pretty clear when it happens.
And yeah, I think last time it was really hard because we had two identical target assault TLCs and also bounties. So there were 3 things that were kind of important. That's what we were complaining more about last time. Just the TLC and bounty. I guess it's harder.
Yeah, we'll wait and see if we get an answer on that one. Would not be the first time there was an oversight. November bounty features U2 upgrades for the Warhound and Trencher, the Archimedes heavy missile turret, and a heap of fantastic T9 base armors.
Now,
so these are Thunder armors. These are
turret armors,
right?
Sounds like it.
Yeah. So I read it. Okay. Hopefully I don't suck more power than the previous. Otherwise, people are going to be forced to make more decisions. So you can melt down some more turrets and just put a Howie 1 on top of them, just so it's not you don't get an exclamation point on top of it.
I put harpoons on mine. Maybe there was a little bit of slowdown.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to take as much power out of the base as possible. Okay, PvE calendar. Oh, boat show.
No, I don't like that because
I'll show you my boat. Oops, did I say that out loud?
we've had to scrap all of our old nostalgic boats. Although we do have build tokens. I mean, I could build a King's Writ right now if I wanted to. And VXP it too. But
Well, you probably have 100 Citadel tokens saved up.
I've got lots of tokens, but
Except for my favorite one was the Seawolf. Some of my Seawolf builds would take some time, and I don't think I have any Seawolves left.
Yeah, so I'm a little worried about.
It might be like it doesn't give any details. Maybe it's drying them, or I don't know, design in the shipyard.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I still like my idea as far as the contest better than this one.
I think this has potential.
But this one could have potential for people that have been playing the game for a long time.
Well, I've been playing the game longer than you know.
Yes, I know. You're the oldest.
Okay, Mr.
But I'm still not liking the idea of this contest. So it's because
I think it's better than
who's judging it? The people that have only been involved with the game for the last year and a half, 2 years.
Maybe I'll get over to Peter.
They haven't had to sit and listen to all the stories that I've heard over and over and over again about the Blackwater days and blah blah blah. I wasn't there at the beginning. I'm so sorry, but
I mean, besides this time, how many times have I mentioned Blackwater on the show?
No, I wasn't talking about you.
Yeah, okay.
Everyone else.
Yeah. You have to use Huggies to design them. Yes, Huggies is.
Huggies
I don't think that website. Yeah.
Oh, the website, you can still find places where it exists. It's just not updated anymore.
Well, it'll be interesting. This is one I won't probably enter, but we'll see. Maybe.
Well, it could just be designing one, or I mean, it has potential. I actually have a week of I'm going to have 2 weeks of FM build tokens left over, so maybe I'll use that to build a fleet of Mercuries or something.
How about a Kodiak?
I wasn't around for that time.
The Savage Kodiak. That continued to have legs way beyond because of the penetrative reload and defense resistance bonuses. So that one lasted beyond its years.
Yeah, but who's not going to pick a sub? I mean, a Phantom Nighthawk.
All the ladies are going to go for the Barracuda, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
So it could be fun, I guess. We'll see.
Okay.
So might bring a lot more people in to do a contest because it's something that a lot more people could probably relate to. They don't have adorable cats.
I like the BCX. I actually like the original battle cruiser after it was, because you could win that in was that the third raid? Because it was HHA, HHB, and then I think it was the battle cruiser, and then it was the battleship. The first battle cruiser, when it was released to the sector winners, it fucking sucked. It was so slow. You couldn't put any weight on it. Had no evade. And then they released it like a year later, changed all the stats and made it a good ship after, the people that won it in the sector, one winner per sector. Yeah, that was... I still liked it afterwards, but I was really disappointed what they did there umpteen years ago. So, but yeah, because I would run that in raid halls and base hitting halls, just as like a evade tank out ahead that was fast enough. But the original BC wasn't as fast as the BCX, but it had more evade, and I did like that one.
The BCX was like my first real ship. So
Yeah, and the
that's when I got.
MCX I built 3 fleets of.
I
love
never
the,
had an MCX
yeah.
before my time. I
I don't
came
think
at
I did either.
BCX.
Yeah, what I built a fleet of Berserkers, which was the first overload ship. So you damage them enough, Reaver ship, they'd overload. But I put the highest reload weapon I could think of. I put torrent missiles on that thing. It didn't work very well because of things I didn't realize and how they have to take 0.2 seconds to fire. But I thought I just get damaged and I just blast them with a whole bunch of things. I didn't put mortars on it. I couldn't afford those.
My favorite ship was a Gore Saber. And my first base hitting ship. It was awesome.
The original dreads were not was not the slow splashing beast, because that was a ballistic hull.
They were only ballistic once they got into the retrofit lab, really.
Well, but people, I'm just trying to figure out if he's the DNX, the next version. That was the, Black Rain fleet. But yeah, I don't know. But normally people were using them with D35S and Engine 3 and tearing up bases that way. Because you had the splash from the D35S. And in addition to the 5% combat speed, the D35S added, and you could just run through bases because they were fast but clunky. And they would chew through walls. So yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to criticize people's favorite ships, but
That's okay. We all have our favorites. We can all wax nostalgic about it. And I think what's really interesting is looking back, we can wax nostalgic. Going forward, I don't think I'm going to look back and say, "Oh, the Zealots were my favorite." No, the Mutineers. These ships, I mean, with the way things are now, they just go by so fast. I'm not even sure I remember what it was 3 cycles ago.
Yeah, and as soon as they get more than 2 cycles old, you scrap them.
Exactly. They're gone.
Yeah. And John's remembering his first jugs. I mean, there was the Juggernaut, and then there was the Jug Axe. And the Jug Axe was, where it doubled the armor ability of the ship, and you could get the evade up to something that was crazy. And that was a replacement as far as base hitting for at least for me, for the battle cruiser, because you could get the evade up to huge numbers and just have it a little bit further out, and just nothing was hitting this, at least as far as non-splash weapons. And it could outrun the everything else as far as the mortars go. So the Jug Axe was that was high on my list as well.
The good old days.
Yep. Yeah, the Q mortar. This is what Ben's talking about, because he was using the Stalker sub as a tank. Everything that couldn't fire underwater was firing at the Stalker while he was following it up with everything else, because it could see them, but he couldn't fire at them. So that was a fun technique as well. I also remember when I was using a single Barracuda to hit certain bases, where I would use the speed of the Barracuda to get through the base, and then it would pop up right behind the outpost, and then hit it with some combination of D35S and D35X. That it would only fire when surface. But that was fun as well. But yeah, the Stalker sub, because it had the long submerge time, that was a good one as well. Yeah. I'm not sure which ship, but yeah, a lot of them had the 18 combat speed, like the HHB. Um, I think I had a base of 12, but you could crank it up there to 18.
Oh, Ulysses has made me remember my Frosty.
Mhm.
That was one of my favorite ships. It had the cryo launchers on it, I think.
Yeah.
Well, someone is currently attacking my base with a single harrower for the second time in a row.
Is he attacking or just peeking?
He peeked me, and then he's peeking me again right afterward, which I don't understand why.
Because he
But we may have
forgot.
an actual base hit coming to you at some point in the not so distant future if this person whose name is _dash actually hits me.
Oh, does it look like a smiley face?
It looks like an unamused neutral face.
Okay. Yeah, because there was okay.
Yeah, if he hits, you go live. And Lego, I like the idea of a retro arena where you could take your old fleets in. That would be fun. I think one of the best contests we had was designing a gunboat. Remember the fancy gunboat? Was it an April Fool's thing?
Yeah. That was the Grand Unified National Battle of Attrition Tournament.
Wow.
April Fool's gunboat. You get golden gunboat skin.
Yep. That was fun.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. What was the big sub after the Stalker? I assume that was the Barracuda, right? The one the ladies loved. It was the big golden phallus. There was not one between the Stalker and the Cuda, right? It started off with the Predator.
Predator, Stalker, Cuda. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, and then it was the Tiger Shark. I think was the next one. So yeah, it was the Cuda. And what sector you want to see my Surf Mercury?
I'm an alpha.
yeah.
You show him yours, he'll show you his.
Lego agrees the lady's favorite is Barracuda. So, Saint, what was you've been around for a while. What was your favorite?
I think probably my favourite one was the DNX Black Rain for a while.
Yeah.
Well, I was never a huge base hitter, to be honest. Back in those days, you obviously didn't have the build tokens and that kind of thing. So unless you were putting a bit of coin into it, you were always a little bit behind.
Yeah.
It was a big sub. What color was it?
You know what else is a big sub?
The 12-inch from Subway for $5.
Yeah, it's up to $5.99 now. You know they could never pull off the $5 deal.
Okay. The Ghost Crawler. I mean, is that what he's talking about? I'm thinking the big sub is
Ghost Crawler, Tiger Shark, Phantom Nighthawk.
The Nighthawk.
That wasn't big. The only big one was the Ghost Crawler, right?
Yeah, that wasn't the big one.
The Nighthawk was big.
Nighthawk was kind of skinny. Oh, the Reaper.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, yeah. So I think this will get with the reaction on the show.
Yeah.
I think depends on do we actually have to build it? And it would be funny if you actually had to build it and then you had to have like tiered battles. Because those are like tier 1 ships, like the Sea Wolves, and then as you move up, if they actually had to battle it out, that would be amusing. because I do remember one of my favorite moments was early on when Destro, um, who was he was in my sector, and he was the old CEO of Kixeye, and after the first raid, he put out his HHAs, which at that point flashed back and forth like in some sort of psychedelic nature. And he had I found out later that he had one of the server engineers design his build, and his build involved some sort of assault cannon, which had a slightly lower range than the Thud 3. And he attacked me. And he had HHAs, which I had one, but I could not build at that point because, I had to slow build them. And I had my Seawolves, and he attacked my Seawolves with I can't remember if it was Thud 3 or Thud 4 at this point in time. And, but I had 2 range on him. And so he attacked me, and, with a brand new ship. And he was so mad. I mean, because I could just kite him. I was faster than him, and I could just barely kite him the whole time. And he was quite expressive on comms. And, I was
Then
quite
he banned
amused.
your account.
No, he didn't ban my account, but he didn't quite use the word pussy, but he would hit my base, and then he would rock it. You got 3 hits at that point, and then you would automatically bubble, and he'd keep on dropping rockets, bunker busters on my base. And then, he would drop 3 bunker busters, and he was like, well, unbubble, and then, say something about my manhood. And
yeah, that fits fairly well with my general impression of Will Harmon.
Yeah, and so we went back and forth with that, and it was but he was not happy with me beating him with the Seawolves with I assume at this point it was Thud 4s with his HHAs that were just built like the day of the raid. This was after the first raid, but yeah, it was amusing. Okay, and we decided it was Spectres are the big ones. Yeah, they're a little wide. Yeah, wide and gold. So, but yeah, he was always an interesting one. But yeah, he would he would drop bunker busters all over my base, want me to unbubble so he could drop 3 more and then get in my base. So he dropped like 6 missiles and try and get in my base, and I was like, yeah, no, this is not going to happen. So do we have much the Banshee? The Banshee's slow and big, but I don't think that's going to be anybody's favorite. I don't know. Is there much else we should discuss? Either people in the group or people in chat?
I think for people who are looking to build the Overlord, Derby made a good point earlier with the tokens this week. You've also probably got a week's worth or at least 1 week's worth of FM tokens free. So that'll help people maybe another 6 days plus the build tokens from the TLC. So it'll give them a good head start.
Good point.
Yeah. Yeah, so you could chop 10, 12 days off the build time. Which I don't know if that gets you ready for bounty, but it gets you ready for next bounty, right?
Yeah, I would have thought so.
Yeah, and RB Mickey brings up a good point. Personally, I only did the the Blood Frenzy just to see what it was. But I've been keeping my photons up and at them. I have not, like I normally do, I would put my flag in there for an upgrade at this point in this week. I'm waiting till not this week, not next week, but the following week to upgrade my my flag, because they take so much time. If we can go back to slide 5, one slide earlier. You'll see it has VXP tokens for the Piranha and the Overlord. You might be better off just killing the VXP targets on the map with a full fleet of photons, because you get 10,000, 3 of these tokens, as opposed to, if you're trying to upgrade Piranhas or Overlords, you need to hit 3 prize packs, which I think is going to cost you much more if you have a built fleet of photons than taking out these VXP targets. Because I'm looking at it's about like 12. It's instant repair on the dock. If you drive it, it's about an hour or so if you try to auto them. So it's a better way to get VXP tokens. But if you do need to get the shards or the blueprints for any of this stuff, this is a better way. But if you just want VXP, cheap VXP for them, it's better to go ahead to VXP targets. Yeah. It goes up to 80. I quit at like 92. And
I'm at 0. Maybe I should hit 1.
Yeah.
I autoed a few. I'm up to 16.
Oh, you guys are quite low. Okay. Yeah, I've got like an additional 25. I wasn't that low. So.
I had none, and my Overlord wasn't all the way skull. It is now.
Okay.
So I'll hit some more tomorrow.
Okay. I'll be back in a second.
So I'm just planning on hitting the VXP targets just for the VXP tokens, not to upgrade. Everything I've got's already upgraded.
It's I don't think there's really anything to get upgraded now, but grab a few Defender ones for the future.
Yeah.
Although there's not much sign of a new Defender ship at the moment.
Yeah, but it's nice to have them on hand, and this is a good week to do it because there's not a lot of other stuff going on.
True.
Is the Overlord our only tier 9 defender, or is the Gatekeeper also tier 9? No, Gatekeeper's tier 9.
I'm just glad they're not tier-locked tokens.
And I guess the Piranha's tier 9 as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's true. So we got 3 of those, 3 defenders, 3 attackers. My big problem, when we get the first tier 10 attacker, even if it has the same exact stats as the current ones, it's going to be better because remember, the Overlord aura is not going to affect tier 10 ships.
Yeah, because it was only going to affect 9 and down or something.
Yeah, which is it's just a weird decision. I mean, it makes an extremely strong power creep, like power swing. Maybe it's weighted they're trying to avoid power creep, but I don't know about that. It
could go the other way.
They could bring out
huge power creep.
They could bring out the Defender first, which they won't, but they could.
We got the Warhound's going to get upgraded next week as well, isn't it? Is it an actual upgrade, or are they just an increase in wall and building damage?
The way it was phrased makes it sound like it's a buff, but it's going to be a U2 upgrade as far as that's the way I'm reading it. That's the way I understand it. That's what they're going to do.
That's what I assumed. It was just as you say. it read that it was actually going to be an upgrade to it because they've realised it's swung too much to the Defender again at the moment, which is nice for
But
once.
I don't the Warhound is a 10-day upgrade for each ship.
Yep.
I don't even have a single one at U1.
I've got one.
I don't want to do a 10-day upgrade on 4 or 5 ships, then another 10-day upgrade after I hit a few dozen of the same exact target that are not fun, not engaging, to get the upgrade kits to do it. I mean, it's just...
And that 10 days is after you've earned enough points to get the 200 kits you need for each one.
Yeah, 200
so not
kits,
cheap in
200 kits
not cheap in
bounty in just a really not great event. It's just not fun. No one likes PvP upgrades.
Well, the other problem with bounty next week is probably going to be they're going to have all these new turrets on there, all these new defense turrets.
Oh,
yeah. Oh,
it's going to be even harder.
I'm probably not doing bounty then.
Yeah. Well, has anyone found out or gotten any information on the TLC, on the assault TLC?
I've seen nothing come through Discord.
Nope, nothing on there.
I still don't think I'll do bounty.
I'll try it. I'll hit a few things. Last one I really didn't do a whole bunch, and this time, I mean, it's gonna be, unless they fixed it and made the targets like worth the payout, and you could hit one, go away for 6 hours and come back, hit another. But I don't want to grind. I don't want to hit a really easy base 100 times. That's not fun for me.
Right, it's not fun for me, and it's a lot of time, unless you can auto it, and most of them you really can't auto anymore.
And I don't want to hit a player base that I'm have a 90% chance of losing in.
Right.
And even if I do win, I get like 2,000 bounty, maybe 3,000 if I'm lucky.
And that's part of the problem. The only time to really hit anything is when the Kix employee bases are out, but they've made the Kix employee bases so hard that a lot of us that are regular PvP players, we just can't do it.
And last bounty, they reduced the points for the reasonable kick spaces as well.
Yeah, kick spaces aren't necessarily hard. They just have extremely low payout and are not very fun.
Well, they're hard for those of us that don't PvP because, we're bottom of the barrel PvP ships and we don't know necessarily how to drive them well. So the targets are hard for us, for PvE players that are attempting bounty.
Yeah, most of the targets I can do with one fleet. But it's if I can get 90% dead fleet and 2,000 bounty points, that's not a good payoff.
Exactly. And then those of us that are hit every 4 hours, although hopefully we won't be with Overlord, but we're losing a lot of res, we're losing time. It's just not been fun.
Leonard Skinner says something wrong. I just rolled a remote raider. And
he's lying. Don't believe him.
No, well, I do not know why. I was trying to yesterday. I was trying to roll. I think steelheads, and 2 out of 3 rolls, I rolled grease monkeys. And then I had to change everything around. I deleted some salty dogs and whatnot. But what is your theory as far as how the rogue crews work?
So my theory is every time you roll, you get put into a few different queues. One might be a lucky queue, one might be a trashy queue, and there's 9 trashy queues and 1 lucky queue. So if you get a pretty good crew on the first roll, it might be worth it to actually re-roll again until you keep getting a good one. That's my theory with a tinfoil hat. My actual thing is it's just a random chance, which they change whenever the hell they want to without telling us. So,
yeah, you've heard my theory before. as far as I think that the way the rolling for road crews works is some of the lower crews might have, you know, DOS crews, disciplines of skullduggery, might have like 2,000 that are available throughout the game. If somebody uses one, it throws it into the, you know, the chances that you can win. And so therefore, you know, like that Leonard Skinner gets a remote raider makes me think that somebody used them in the Blood Frenzy TLC to up their lower their damage using their drones.
I think that's what they do for the tier 7 build token. I think there's one available every week.
But you understand, like if you know, if
I understand what you're saying.
if I have like a ton of DOS crews, because DOS crews, or some of those ones that are barely available have very low numbers. So if somebody throws it into the available pool, I think I've been told it doesn't work that way, but I've never got an explanation of how it actually does work.
It's just a random chance.
Yeah, I can't believe there's that level of programming in the background of the game. They would have to have a count across the whole game of how many crews are available, and the moment someone uses one, another one becomes available.
And when does it expire? When I assign it? When it expires in my dock? What if it's just sitting in the dock and I go back and extend it with 30 gold or whatever? What if I'm currently rolling one on dock press reroll? Yeah.
Maybe it resets every hour. Maybe do a reset of every hour. I have no idea. But I just noticed that certain crews are more available at certain times. Is all I'm saying.
And I bet
think that's confirmation bias.
I think as the zealots go away, then remote raiders will probably be more available.
I think they'll go bump up the multiplier, take away one of the 0.000s they had in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's one more good thing from this week that they're doing. They're updating those assault beginner campaigns, which they missed doing when the Photon came out, and I hope they keep doing those and hope they keep updating them. Otherwise, there's literally no path for a new player into the game.
So what are they updating? They're putting a new ship in there.
They're moving the Zealot to the TLC and the Pegasus, so that beforehand, right now we have the Saturn and the Forsaken Mission chests, and you use that to get the Pegasus in the campaign. Now that's getting bumped down one level. So you have the Pegasus and the Forsaken Mission chest. You use that to get the Zealot in the campaign. So you can get a free Zealot fleet, like a U2 upgrade, as soon as you join now.
Yeah, well, that's good for joining players, because they always left it far too long to update any of those old campaigns.
Yeah,
that's why we had the retrofit or the Foundry. That's why we had a dozen other things that just were implemented once and never updated. Looks like this one might actually almost be updated more.
But do you remember when it took years to catch up? I mean, it took me years to become a high-level player.
Yeah. Especially if you didn't spend any money and played an hour a day. It was almost impossible.
Yeah, I played a lot.
Yeah. Like the Foundry and several other things, it's like once people get laid off, fired, or quit, their pet projects go away. And I'm surprised, we still see mega campaigns, because that was G.D. Rakin's thing. And that, there hasn't been any progression of it
in a long time.
What?
Now that's a name I haven't heard in a long, long time.
Yeah, but he was the father of the mega.
Well, we're getting a new mega campaign, which apparently has new content. So
okay, well, maybe he came back,
or somebody must be playing. They wouldn't do that if nobody was playing it.
Yeah. So, why things go away as far as like your retrofit lab, or all these other things. It's just because people get assigned projects, and once that person goes away, it doesn't appear that they keep very good notes as far as like how to change these.
Yeah, there's no continuation document, no standard operating procedure. Just
Yeah.
out of whoever, yeah, it's just someone's whiteboard in their office.
Yeah,
and they haven't been in there for months because of COVID, so they don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah, well, yeah. You go deal with the megas. I'm like, okay. There's no. That's like the intern's job is to deal with the megas. Okay, well, we'll just run another VXP. So maybe we have an intern that's plucky, or whatever word you want to use. That's trying to because that always seems like the shit job in Kicksai is like being in charge of megas over the last couple of years. Like, there's nothing we can do with those. So, well, the build expert in the dock, that's like a Facebook thing, and that's sort of,
Well, there's a shipyard person and naval lab person.
Yeah. I know what you're talking. I'm sorry. Yeah,
the expert build.
Yeah. Well, once it gets to be like a tier or two down, it lowers the build time for that ship. Yeah, that went away. It's just because that person that invented it is no longer with the company. So, I mean, that's my opinion. Oh, yeah. The whiteboard's only... that was Chris, right? That wrote the...
Oh, it was one of them. It was like...
It was. I think it was...
I thought it was Rampage. I think it was Rampage. Major Rampage.
I thought that was Chris, because Major Rampage is much nicer than Chris.
I've never had a problem with Chris, but I have not engaged with him on that many things.
Yeah, it was Chris. Chris is not that Chris is a bad guy, but he's like Major Rampage was. He was sort of he was actually too nice for the community. So yeah, Rampage with the long hair. Yeah, he was a very nice person. Chris is much more, yeah. Rampage had some. There were shows. Well, there were shows way before that. When you had the swag shows.
He's talking about the live Facebook shows.
Yeah. Well, I always appreciated the, if anybody wants to Google swag, battle pirates, those were epic shows. Between the blue beard or the red beard or whatever he had going on, he was getting it done right. The weekly podcast only lasted for a little bit. Yeah, no, it's all good. No, I like Rampage. Yeah, swag was yeah. He had the raid vids, and they were cool. They were like, I don't know. Maybe somebody should pop up with a show where we all do a remembrance of what swag was.
I think we get swag back on the show, even though he doesn't work at Kicksai. We just say, hey.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm sorry. Go ahead. As far as how you want to project how swag moves into the future.
I was just gonna say we get him back on here to talk about battle pirates.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think. Last I heard, he was doing like WWE games.
It'd be interesting to hear about that.
Yeah. That's a swag. That's a swag opening line. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, you guys go. Yeah, you guys go look up swag and battle pirates, and it's a whole different thing. It's because at one point, the whole video presence of Kixeye and battle pirates moved over to bad cardboard cutouts with bad Russian accents. It
with
was
Liam
like
99 doing the accents.
I don't even know what that was, but it was like, and that's why they got rid of it. They got away from them because it was like, I think they found them embarrassing as far as like, oh, here's Greta and here's that, and then like, obviously, like Americans doing fake Russian accents. It was something. It was funny to watch, but I'm not sure that's the image that they wanted to project. I don't know. He wasn't a car salesman. Because
He was high energy, though.
it was high energy, but a car sale, like, well, if he said used cars, that has a negativity towards, as far as the way I take it. He was, yeah, he did sell. I mean, is there any way that somebody wants to screen share one and we can explain to people like what swag was?
Let me see if I can find anything interesting.
Yeah, because it was a whole different thing. It felt a little 1980s, but it was it made everybody feel included in the community, in my mind. Yeah, he did build excitement for the raids. Yeah, no. I'm pro swag completely. I'm just trying to explain like what he did, as far as what he presented to the players and whatnot. I agree
one
with you.
with his face in it or just his voice?
I think the beard needs to be in there, don't you think?
Yes. Oh yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Okay, share it.
Okay. One moment. All right.
You gotta screen share it though.
Yep. Here we go.
Okay.
Captain, here, your community manager at Kixeye. This weekend in Battle Pirates, the Draconians are making one final attempt to establish outposts in Base Invader 6. Let's get a little sneak peek of what you're going to be doing during the event, as well as the prizes that you can win. The Draconians have a newfound affinity for underwater weaponry and have placed torpedo bays around their outposts that fire sonar torpedoes. If you're a big fan of using submarines, be especially cautious. For each ship and building you destroy in the Draconian outpost, you will be awarded with a certain number of points. There is a new tier prize system in place that will allow you to choose from one of two prizes in the first 4 tiers. You can only redeem your points for one item per tier. However, you have up to 1 week after the conclusion of this event to cash in your points for prizes. By redeeming your points in the 5th tier, you will get the blueprint to the new anti-submarine hull, the Interdictor. This ship is the only one of its kind because it is the first hull to have a built-in resistance to concussive weapons. If submarines are what ail you, then the Interdictor is the cure. The Barracuda is one of the deadliest predators of the water. Even it can be prey for the Interdictor. Any submarine that is not equipped with a Caterpillar drive is going to be easily spotted while underwater by the Interdictor. These Barracudas can neither run nor hide. The Interdictor also has the capability of being the fastest ship in combat. By equipping Engine 3 and a few siege cannons, nothing is faster than the Interdictor.
God, look at those sea wolves
Cat and mouse.
shoot up.
Will eventually even overtake sea wolves, which are one of the fastest hulls in the game. If you're a speed demon, then the Interdictor is the ship for you.
Yeah, look how fast
Base
that
Invader 6 kicks off Thursday, July 19th, and wraps up on Monday, July 23rd. Be sure to post your new tactics in the comments below, and be sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Best of luck, Captains.
good old days.
Yeah, The Saint, are you a little teary at this point?
Brings back memories. I used to
Yeah.
hate that choose one of the two prizes system as well.
Oh yeah. That
So
wasn't
frustrating.
good. That wasn't good. I agree with you completely on that. As far as like, because if you only got halfway through, then you couldn't claim a lot of stuff. If you were, like say you needed 200, just make up random numbers. If you needed 200,000 points and you got 100,000 points, you were fucked.
Yeah, you couldn't pick anything.
Yeah. So I don't know. But I just wanted to let everybody know this was, what I meant by swag and what he was doing as far as presenting the game. So, no.
The
What else should
comments
we
on
talk
that
about?
video are like positive.
But how many reactions did he get?
I'm not sure. I mean, that video has 100. It's like a 10-to-1 like to dislike ratio.
But how many likes did he get?
111. 60,000 views on that
Just
video.
111, not like 111. Okay.
60,000 views on his video. Now, what the last Battle Pirates Kickstarter, the video that Kickstarter put out, I can't even. Yeah, it's been so long. The last one was for Trial by Fire. Oh no, there's one called Bishop's Rock. I'm not sure, but it just is not the same game that it was 5 years ago.
Well, I think that was more than 5 years ago, but yeah, no,
Hey, that was 8 years ago. The one I showed just then.
Yeah. It's but
well, that's all I've got.
Okay.
So I just ran through one of the Blood Frenzy campaigns with my photons. I found them a lot slower than the zealots to kill the targets. One, as you say, because you can't kill the little drones quickly. And then two as well, I find with the zealots, because they've got the splash, you take out the protection towers a bit quicker. But with the missiles, you have to, obviously it targets the closest turret first and gets no overspill into those protection towers. So it takes a lot longer to kill them. Once you take the protection tower down, it was a lot easier. But yeah, I think I'll keep running through with zealots at the moment, to be honest.
Okay. I just hate the zealots, so maybe that's just my issue.
But you can do the first 4 targets on auto anyway, for not too much damage, and then you have to drive the last 3. But I would have thought you need to drive the last 3 with the photons as well.
Okay. Okay. Well, I don't know. Is there anything we need to tell everybody before Wednesday?
Have a good weekend.
Pretty well to stretch it to 1:20 with nothing to talk about.
Whatever. Are you saying I have no skills?
No, I said you did well to stretch it.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, Wednesday. Wednesday. I did good with that. But okay. Well, hope everybody does well with the VXP. Nothing to VXP, but I don't know. Take a look at the targets and build up your defender tokens, and we'll see you all next week.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Later, people.